What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to our channel, Not a Film Critic. Today we're going to be talking about The Batman and whether or not it's worth a watch. So I think this movie is definitely worth watching in theaters. Opening weekend, if you can, if possible. It's a really good film. Although I do have some issues with it. I don't think it was a perfect 10 out of 10, but I definitely think it was a good movie. Not sure if it's better than The Dark Knight in my opinion, but not calling this a bad movie by any means. If you're a fan of the Batman character, you're gonna love this movie.
So I have kind of a different perspective because I don't remember seeing any of the other Batman movies. So I don't really have a lot to compare it to. However, I was surprisingly happy with Robert's performance as Batman.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
I think he was a really good Batman. However, the Batman character he plays is not far from a vampire.
Yeah.
It's not far from being a vampire. Not at all.
Well, because he's like always coming out at night. Always
He's
hides.
still nocturnal. He's still pale.
He's not really. You don't really see much of Bruce Wayne in this movie. It's mainly just Batman.
However, I do think like it was well done, those pieces, because I think he played the role really well.
Yeah, him and James Gordon, the Batman and James Gordon they're like the main characters in this movie. And I think they have really good chemistry. And it's always cool to see because Batman's still learning. He's still very new to being Batman. So he's making a lot of mistakes. So he's like working and learning with Gotham PD. Well, mainly just James Gordon. He doesn't really work with any of the other police officers. So
if anything, the police still don't trust Batman yet.
Yeah, and it's cool to see that because a lot of people don't really take him serious. They're not really scared. There's some people are scared of Batman, but there's a lot of people in the film, they're not really taking him serious. They just think he's like a freak and crazy man in a costume.
He hasn't established himself.
Right, and I really like that part of the Batman because it's still showing that he's learning and working on being better.
And the Batman that we learned to know.
So what I really like about this movie is that we get to see Batman making mistakes, and I assume he's going to learn from all his mistakes in this film, and like obviously in the next films he improves and all these different things.
Are we getting another film?
It's been confirmed that we're getting a sequel. I don't know about a trilogy, but I know we're getting a sequel.
Nice.
So I'm excited for that because it literally builds up for a second one. Like we should see him improve. So yeah, we see the early stages of Batman. And what I really liked about The Dark Knight is that it was like really realistic. But this one seems even more realistic. Like we see this in real life because he doesn't really have those crazy, like the crazy Batmobile with all those tech stuff. It's kind
of. But the Batmobile is really cool.
It's cool.
Like it was really cool to see that Batmobile.
But it's not like a high tech with missiles and all that stuff. At least not yet. But we might see that in the next films.
Who knows?
So that's one thing that I like. And this movie is very detective heavy.
It is kind of like it's not a murder mystery because even the trailers show you who the murderer is.
He's mainly a detective figuring out stuff. Well, obviously we do get those badass Batman fight scenes and all that. It's really cool, but it's mainly focused on being a detective and figuring out
This movie was also really dark too.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot more dark than any of the Marvel movies, which I was expecting figuratively and literally.
Yeah, it was very dark,
but that's not to say they didn't put jokes of their own in there.
Yeah, a couple.
It was a couple, but jokes. I always felt bad laughing because they were like dark humor jokes.
And there wasn't even a lot of jokes. It was just a couple of them, but I thought they were funny. Did you get any of the riddles? Like did you solve them before they solved them?
No way.
No.
My brain was not thinking the answers to those.
Yeah, it was cool. I do think this movie was a little slow. I wasn't bored, but if you're like the average person going to watch this movie, I do think you're gonna be like checking your phone, like, oh, how long this movie? It had some pacing issues, but I still very much enjoyed it. You don't think so? You were just to be fair, it was really hot in there, so I was like sweating. But
so this movie is almost 3 hours long. I checked my phone once, and that was at the 2 hour mark because it seemed like they were ready to wrap up the film. And I even asked you in the theater. I was like, "What are they gonna do for another hour?" Because it already seemed like it was over. But that being said, I was not disappointed with the ending. So I only checked my phone once.
Yeah.
And as someone who hasn't seen the other Batman movies, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was
I
cool.
think there was enough puzzles and plot points in just different scenarios to keep the story going.
There's a lot going on, and I think I remember you seeing like, oh, this could be like a cool like TV show, and I can see that because there's a lot of stuff to go in this film. Like I can see how they could make this like a series because there's a lot of stuff to go.
Yeah, there was just a lot of different points. So I thought it would have been a good idea to break down this 3-hour movie into a mini series, but obviously that's not the way they chose to go. But
it was cool.
Yeah, but it was cool.
So overall, I definitely recommend this movie opening weekend in theaters if you're a Batman fan. I don't know how much you'll enjoy if you're just a casual moviegoer and like, oh, the Batman, I know the Batman, and just go watch it. I don't know if you'll enjoy it.
I enjoyed it,
and
I am that person.
You're that person. Okay, well, there you go. So, and you would recommend it watching opening
weekend?
weekend?
I would recommend watching this movie in theaters. Just be prepared. Get some popcorn, some soda, some candy. Be prepared to sit down for 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I wasn't bored. It was long, but I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it does a really good job setting up for future films, like a good introduction film.
Yes, I agree.
It's a solid introduction film.
And it really still reintroduces the world, like they still have to do some world building, introducing some characters. And the relationships between them, but
even the fight sequences, like they're pretty badass. So there's some scenes that are like, damn, that's sick.
There's a lot of cool.
I kind of wanted more of that, but that's just me, being nitpicky. It was mainly a detective film. But when we did get those action scenes, you really got them.
Yeah, the cinematography in this film was also like really good. I really like the way they set up a lot of those shots.
There's one thing that I didn't really like. There's like some shots where it's kind of blurry in the edges, like
But I think that's an artistic choice.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that, but that's just my opinion. Do you like that, or you didn't mind that?
I feel like it added to the disorientation. Like, like you were meant to feel fuzzy and confused.
But it wasn't like, not even in the fight scenes. It was like when they were talking,
Maybe I missed that.
I think since I do a lot of video, I noticed it more, but I don't think like the general people would notice it as much as I did. But yeah, so definitely go check this out. If you're a Batman fan, worth the watch.
Worth a watch in theaters.
So I kind of want to talk about some spoilers. So we're gonna put a spoiler warning right here. So if you haven't seen the film and don't want anything spoiled, just skip this part. And first thing I want to talk about is the Joker. I don't know.
We can't confirm.
No, it is the Joker.
We can't confirm.
No, we can't confirm. That was the Joker. You saw his like creepy ass smile and that laugh. Him and the Riddler's laugh. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it, but maybe
hey man, it was unsettling to say the least.
But I do think there'll be like a cool like duo to see on screen. Like they'll be like doing some fucked up shit.
Yeah,
I can see them
I can
working
only
together.
imagine.
Yeah, but there's couple of things that I want to talk about. Like I had problems with the whole Batman thing. He gets shot so many times. He gets shot a million times, and it's almost like that Punisher effect where I don't know if you've seen Punisher, but Punisher gets shot. It's like a Netflix series, right? He gets shot a bunch of times. The next episode, he's like up and running again, fighting crime. And I understand this in Batman, he had like a suit, but I'm sure there's like doing damage, right? This whole suit's like made out of iron. Is he Iron Man at that point?
We don't know because we don't know what the suit's made out of.
I don't know.
We don't know what kind of Wayne technology he has.
And then there was a scene where he like got shot in the chest with a shotgun, and he like
point blank.
He wanted to help Catwoman because she was getting attacked, and he couldn't, so he injected himself with some form of green liquid fluid,
some serum type thing.
Right, and I'm thinking, what if that is the same liquid that Bane uses? Because it's green. I don't know. It just reminded me of that. I was like, oh, that looks like the Bane liquid. Anyways, that's what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
But I do wish we got to see a little more of Batman training. Because
they did a whole marketing thing for that. So like they were selling
the book.
the book that explained all that.
Yeah,
if you really wanted to, they're not gonna give you that in the movie because they made a whole separate.
Well,
it's like a, what's it called? Not a pay to play, but like.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean.
Thing that kind of bothered me is that we apparently, Batman's like, he's already like mastered fighting or whatever. He's really good at it. But he's still kind of clumsy with... You saw on top of the building, he was like hesitant to jump off. He was scared. It looked like he was scared to jump off.
Mm-hmm.
But then he had his whole wingsuit, which I liked. It was like a more realistic approach. He had a wingsuit instead of the cape that like glides him. And then like he ended up hitting the bridge. He's still like new to that, right? He doesn't know how to do that stuff. That's cool.
I think that just emphasized that he's a new Batman.
Right. And also he made a couple mistakes where he didn't catch some riddles and throughout the film. Shows that he's not completely there like as Batman, and that's why I wanted to see him practice more his fighting, because
But was it his fighting you had an issue with, or was it all the mechanical stuff?
It's all like being Batman, because I know his fighting was there, right? He was fighting really well. That looked more like his fighting looked more like that was his higher skills than his detective side and whatnot.
Because I thought he got a lot of those riddles really quick.
He missed. He was missing, like, even with the tool, the carpet tool. The first clue he got when the first crime scene, that was like.
So did you know that when you saw that?
Well, that's when he said, "Oh, you're not as smart as I thought you were," because he missed it. That was the first clue.
But like, it was a carpenter tool.
Mm-hmm, so that he hit, and he left as that was attached to the note, the card.
Oh.
That was the whole clue that he didn't even like put together.
Yeah.
So that, like, I'm sure in the more established Batman, like, he would have caught that, like he would have put those two together. And this one, obviously, he's still learning how every little detail can matter. So now in the future films, he's going to be like, oh, every little detail matters. And he's going to think more critically.
And there were a few instances like that, too.
Right, yeah. That's what I'm saying, that he's still learning all that stuff. So I wish we would have saw him learning how to fight still. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm just nitpicking at this point. It was a really good movie.
It was a good movie. Don't let his rambling thing make you think it wasn't a good movie, because it was a good movie.
This was a really solid intro, and I'm excited for the next one. I think the next films are going to be even better.
I hope they all look as good as this one did, because this one I think was really fun to just watch, because I really like the shots.
I don't even think they had that many sets. Like, they
didn't need that many sets.
I know, but they kind of look like they were just going back to the same sets, and I feel like they could have probably saved a lot of money by doing that. And the next films will probably, I think the next films are going to be better. That's what I'm excited for, Robert. And he was good. I'm sure we're going to get him be more Bruce Wayne, like learn how to be that character. Because like in the Bruce Wayne we got in this film, he was still Batman technically. He didn't want to interact with anybody as Bruce Wayne. He was very quiet. He was very like with his head down, not talking to anyone. You know what I mean?
I think he got a lot spoiled for him in terms of like his family. Like, he had a lot of realizations. So I feel like that too is going to play part to how he becomes the playboy Bruce that we know.
Yeah.
Because, another spoiler, this whole time he thought his family had done something good for the community, which ended up being the reason it's like crumbling, right? Because, and it says that once his dad died, there was no oversight for the fund, because obviously he didn't want anything to do with it. So maybe I'm thinking he's gonna go back, take the reins on that project, kind of redistribute the funds, and become more of a public more of the public figure.
That makes sense. That makes sense to do, and I think that's exactly what they're gonna do too. So yeah, I definitely think the next movies are gonna be better. I always wanted to see a Court of Owls film, but I don't know if we're gonna get that.
That'd be scary.
I really want to see that, but I'm so excited for the next films. Like this, I think Robert Pattinson, the trilogy it has the potential to be better than the Nolan trilogy. But The Dark Knight is like still my favorite film.
Okay.
This one was not better than The Dark Knight by any means, but it was still really good.
And if you haven't watched the film yet, make sure to stay for the end credit to understand the next part.
Yeah, because we're gonna be talking about it right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so in the end credits, there wasn't very much like an end credit scene, but there was a cool little Easter egg or something, like a last riddle that the Riddler left. It was a code, how Batman was messaging the Riddler in the movie. So it was like they were typing, and there was just a question mark, right? Oh, it said bye or see you
Goodbye.
soon. Goodbye. It said goodbye, and then it flashed like a quick link, a website link. So we're gonna go ahead and check that out right now. So I don't even know what
we haven't looked at we haven't looked at it yet.
So
we wanted to look at you. We wanted to look at it with you guys. So.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and check that out. We're gonna go ahead and check out that link. What was that link?
I think it was the URL from the movie.
Right. Let me see if I can find that real quick. So this is, I don't know if you can see it. This is the link we got. We're going to go ahead and type that in right now.
So it's the URL that Riddler gave.
www.
So it's the URL that the Riddler gave Batman to communicate with. It's that same link. So it's the URL
rataalada.com. So I'm excited. Should I have the volume up? I don't know.
Just to see what happens.
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
Tracing.
Bootload. Arkham.
GothamData.net. Corrections.arkham.gov. Rerouting.
What is this?
Upstanding citizen at rataalada.com.
Click for reward. Do I have to click that?
I don't know. Ew!
What is this?
It says, so the URL on top says it's not over yet.
Right.
And it's an image.
And this is
Riddler's symbols.
Do we have a thing to like read it?
I don't know.
What is it called? The key?
I have a feeling that this isn't actually loading anything.
I
don't know.
What does this mean? The numbers. Anyways,
that's kind of cool.
That was it. It's a little scary. I felt like I was getting hacked.
Yee.
Okay, so this is the code we got from clicking the link. Have no idea what this means. I'm sure there's some people that already figured this out.
We have not.
I don't know how we're gonna figure this out. I know that in the film they had like the key where they can just match it up and then like it tells you the letter, right?
Yeah, but we're not given that, and I didn't take a picture of that.
Yeah, I didn't take a picture of that either. So I guess we'll never find out what this means.
Unless you guys help us out, let us know what you think it means, or if you somehow have a key.
Maybe they can figure it out. You guys figure it out for us and let us know in the comments below. Because I'm not gonna do this.
I have no idea.
That's funny.
Back to the screen. So we definitely think you guys should see this in theaters. It definitely is worth the watch.
It's a great introduction to this new Batman film or this Batman universe.
Have you seen it yet? Are you going to go watch it? Let us know down in the comments and let's talk about it.
So yeah, we'll see you guys later.